When I opened the door to my apartment that day, I almost tripped over 3 empty shoeboxes I had been keeping, just in case. I took 2 steps and stepped on a pile of magazines that I planned to read one day. In the kitchen, drawers crammed with utensils I used once in 2018. In the closet, clothes with tags that I bought on sale 3 years ago. I was literally suffocating among things I didn't use, didn't need, and didn't even like anymore. That's when I asked myself, why do we keep accumulating things that only weigh us down and create anxiety? Why is it so hard to let go? And most importantly, what would it be like to live in a space where everything has a purpose, where I can breathe freely? What I discovered completely changed my relationship with objects and my home. The transformation was so profound that today I want to share with you not just organizing techniques, but a complete path to creating a home that breathes, flows, and brings peace in the simple act of coming home. The first thing I learned is that excess isn't just physical, it's emotional. Each unnecessary item we keep in our homes represents a small decision postponed, a small weight on our minds. Multiplied by hundreds, these items create a constant fog of unfinished tasks that drain us without us even realizing it. I started my journey in the room that troubled me the most, my bedroom. The place that should have been my refuge for rest was taken over by random objects, clothes that didn't fit in the closet, and books piled on the floor. I took a deep breath and made a decision. If something didn't have a real use or didn't bring me genuine joy, it needed to go. At first, it was tough. I picked up a blouse with a tag and thought, but I paid a lot for this. I looked at gifts I had never used and felt guilty for considering getting rid of them. Each object seemed to have its own voice, pleading to stay. But then I remembered, objects don't have feelings. We project emotions onto them. Little by little, I began to see my room emerge from behind piles of things. The floor that I could barely see appeared. The space between the furniture grew. And with every bag of donations that left through the door, I could literally feel the air circulating better. That's when I realized that true organization starts long before you buy storage bins or shelving systems. It starts with having less, not more. It starts with the courage to say no to excess and yes to space. One of the biggest insights I had was understanding that our spaces reflect our minds. When my home was chaotic, my thoughts were too. I couldn't concentrate, I procrastinated on simple decisions, and I constantly felt overwhelmed. As the spaces opened up, my mind did too. After 3 months of consistent work, room by room, I took a rough count. I had gotten rid of over 2,000 items. Clothes, books, decorations, kitchen utensils, old documents, meaningless souvenirs. And the amazing thing is that I don't miss a single thing. In fact, I gained much more valuable things. Time that I no longer waste searching for lost items, energy that I no longer waste cleaning and organizing things I don't use, and mental clarity from living in an environment that makes sense. My morning routine has completely changed. Before, I would spend at least 15 minutes searching for wrinkled clothes in stuffed drawers. Today, I wake up, open an organized closet where everything is visible, and easily choose what I'm going to wear. My work desk, once covered with papers and random items, now only holds the essentials. Result? My productivity has noticeably increased. In the kitchen, I got rid of appliances that promised to make my life easier but actually just took up space. I kept only what I truly use. Today, preparing meals is much simpler because I can find everything quickly, the surfaces are clear for working, and cleaning up is fast since there's no excess. I've also noticed that my consumption habits have naturally changed. Before buying anything new, I ask myself, will this add real value to my life? Do I have space for it? Am I willing to part with something I already own to make room for this new item? Most of the time, the answer is no. And this way, I save money, reduce my environmental impact, and keep my home in balance. One of the most transformative practices I've adopted is the one-in, one-out rule. For many categories of items, I keep only one. One hairdryer, one set of towels in use, one bag for each specific purpose. It seems radical at first, but it forces us to choose the best, what actually works, what we truly love. Another powerful practice is the one-in, one-out system. Whenever something new comes into my home, something old has to go. This creates a constant flow and prevents the silent accumulation that used to dominate my home. Empty spaces, which used to bother me and which I felt the need to fill, are now my allies. A closet with empty space is not an invitation to buy more. It's an achievement to be preserved. A shelf that shows the wall behind it is not incomplete. It's breathing. I've also learned the importance of creating breathing zones in every room, intentionally empty areas that give the eyes and mind a place to rest. It could be a space on the wall without pictures, a side table without decor, a completely clear section of the countertop. These spaces are not empty of meaning. On the contrary, they are full of possibilities. In our modern homes, clarity has become a greater luxury than any expensive item. Having space to move freely, clean surfaces to work on, drawers that open smoothly without being cluttered, these are the true riches of a home. One of the biggest resistances I faced within myself was the attachment to the what if. What if I need this one day? What if it comes back in style? What if I regret getting rid of it? I realized I was living in a hypothetical future, sacrificing my real present. The truth is that 99% of the things we keep just in case will never be used, and the rare exceptions can be easily replaced if necessary. For those starting this journey, my advice is, start small. Choose a drawer, a shelf, a specific category of items. Complete that small project and celebrate. Feel how good it is to have at least that space functioning perfectly. This will give you the motivation to continue. I've also learned the importance of creating intuitive systems. The best organization system is one that is so easy to maintain that it becomes automatic. For example, if you always toss your coat on the sofa when you get home, the problem might not be your discipline, but that the closet is too far from the entrance. Adapt the system to your natural behavior. Don't try to force behaviors that go against your nature. The bathroom was one of the rooms where I saw the quickest results. I removed dozens of products that I was saving for a rainy day and kept only what I truly use in my daily routine. The outcome: cleaning the bathroom became much easier. I can find everything quickly, and I stopped buying duplicate products because I now know exactly what I have. In the living room, I got rid of decorations that didn't have personal meaning and kept only those that tell our story or bring genuine beauty to the space. The freer surfaces create an immediate sense of calm upon entering the room. A practice I've adopted and strongly recommend is the 72-hour pause. When I feel the urge to buy something non-essential, I write it down on a list and wait 72 hours. It's surprising how most purchasing impulses simply vanish during that time. For the few that persist, I take a more thoughtful assessment before making a decision. Another important discovery was about the connection between material excess and difficulty in making decisions. When we have too many options, whether it's clothing, kitchen gadgets, or beauty products, we create small decision moments that, when added up, lead to mental fatigue. Reducing options to only the best and most necessary frees up mental energy for more significant decisions. I also started to notice the emotional impact of different spaces in the house. A always clean and ready kitchen table invites me to sit and enjoy coffee calmly in the morning instead of rushing out. An organized bedroom helps me sleep better because there are no visual distractions competing for my attention. A paper-free office allows me to start working without that feeling of, I have 1,000 things to organize first. A particularly challenging transformation was with the storage area, the place where we usually throw things we don't know where to put. I completely emptied mine and only put back what I genuinely needed to keep. It was shocking to realize how much space I dedicated to storing things that had no real purpose in my life. I also developed a seasonal reevaluation ritual. Each time the season changes, I review specific categories of items. For example, at the end of winter, I assess all my cold weather clothes and get rid of those I didn't wear or didn't enjoy wearing. This continuous cycle prevents accumulation from silently creeping back in. I learned to differentiate between perceived value and real value. Many times, we hold on to things because they were expensive or because we believe they have some worth, when in fact they are just taking up physical and mental space. Selling higher value items I wasn't using has been liberating. I transformed unused objects into resources that I could use for real experiences or needs. One of the most subtle yet profound changes has been in how I receive gifts. I've learned to appreciate the intention behind a gift, without feeling obligated to keep the item forever. If a gift doesn't fit into my life, I sincerely thank the giver for their kindness and then find a new home for it where it will truly be appreciated and used. I also realized how important it is to avoid digital clutter. Photos, emails, files, apps, these things also take up space and create mental overload when there's too much. Applying the same principles of minimalism to the digital world has been extremely beneficial for my mental clarity. One unexpected benefit of having less has been an increase in my gratitude for what I have. When every item in your home has been consciously chosen to stay, you naturally value it more. I appreciate more the single coffee mug I've kept, the coat I chose among many others, and the book I decided to keep on the shelf. A question that transformed my relationship with objects was, if I lost everything in a fire and had to start over from scratch, would I buy this again? For many things I had been keeping without question, the answer was a clear no. This mental exercise helped me be more honest about what truly matters to me. Another important aspect was reconciling minimalism with hospitality. Many people fear that a house with less won't be welcoming for guests. I discovered the opposite. An organized space with clear surfaces and a distinct sense of intention makes people feel instantly more comfortable and at ease. One of the most challenging areas for many is dealing with keepsakes and sentimental items. I developed a system that has helped me immensely. I created a memory box with a set space limit. If something new goes in, something has to come out. This forces me to keep only the truly meaningful physical memories. For the rest, organized digital photos serve as a record without taking up physical space. I also learned to differentiate between wanting to organize and needing to declutter. Often, we look for organizational solutions when the real problem is excess. No organizational system, no matter how sophisticated, addresses the fundamental issue of having too much stuff. For items that we rarely use but are truly necessary, like a drill or a powerful blender, I started exploring alternatives like borrowing from friends or renting on demand. This frees up space at home and also reduces individual consumption. One exercise I highly recommend is the temporary detachment test. Place items you're uncertain about in a sealed box with a date on it. If after 3 or 6 months you haven't needed to open the box to look for those items, you can probably let them go without a second thought. You've proven to yourself that they aren't essential. I also realized how our identity is often tied to our possessions. I'm the kind of person who has a vast collection of books, shoes, tools. Questioning these object-based identities can be profoundly liberating. You are not what you own. Your qualities and values remain the same regardless of the objects surrounding you. Reorganizing my kitchen according to the principle of functional zones has been transformative for my daily routine. All the coffee-related items are grouped together near the coffee maker. Everything related to food preparation is close to the main workspace. This minimizes unnecessary movements and makes tasks much smoother. One of the greatest benefits of minimalism has been the dramatic reduction in time spent on cleaning and organizing. When there are fewer things, cleaning becomes quicker and more efficient. Clear surfaces can be wiped down in seconds. Organized drawers don't need to be tidied up constantly. This frees up precious time for activities that truly matter. I've also developed a more discerning eye for quality over quantity. Instead of having several mediocre items, I now prefer to have a few high-quality items that will last longer and provide me with more satisfaction in daily use. An important note: minimalism doesn't mean a lack of color, personality, or comfort. My home hasn't turned into a cold and sterile space. On the contrary, every object that remains has meaning and purpose, creating a much more welcoming and personal environment than before, when it was cluttered with random items. Establishing clear boundaries for different categories has been crucial for maintaining balance. For example, I decided that 5 pairs of shoes is my limit. If I want a new pair, I need to get rid of an existing one. This system creates a constant and mindful assessment of what I truly value. One of the most useful concepts I've incorporated is the idea of designated homes for each item. Everything in my house now has a specific place where it belongs. This eliminates indecision about where to put things and makes it much easier to maintain organization in daily life. I have also adopted the habit of regularly clearing areas that tend to accumulate stuff, like countertops, tables, and the tops of dressers. A quick sweep of these surfaces at the end of the day ensures that the house starts the next morning in order. I've learned to value space itself as a precious resource. Every square inch of my home has a cost associated with it, whether rent or a mortgage. When I fill that space with unnecessary items, I'm essentially paying to store things that don't add value to my life. Over time, I've developed a mental filter for new acquisitions. Before I buy something, I visualize exactly where it will go in my home, how it will be used, and how long it will last. This simple exercise in imagination prevents many impulsive purchases that used to become burdens. A subtle, yet powerful shift was starting to value open spaces as much as objects. The space between furniture, the partially empty walls, the free surfaces, all of this has its own value and deserves to be preserved, not filled. I also noticed how many of us use shopping as a way to fill emotional voids or as a distraction from deeper issues. When we stop constantly acquiring, we are forced to face these issues, something that can be challenging at first, but incredibly liberating over time. One practice that has helped me maintain balance is the mindful walk around the house. A few times a week, I walk slowly through each room, observing with fresh eyes. Is there something out of place? Something I no longer use? Something that might work better in another spot? This regular check-in prevents clutter from creeping back in. I've also learned that minimalism is not a destination, but an ongoing practice. There's no moment when you finish organizing your home forever. It's a constant relationship with your space and your belongings, evolving as your needs and values change. One of the most rewarding aspects has been the positive influence on the people around me. Without making any speeches or trying to convince anyone, I've noticed friends and family starting to question their own consumption and accumulation habits after experiencing the calm and clarity of my environment. As my external space became more organized, I noticed a similar transformation happening internally. Clearer thoughts, easier decisions, more defined priorities. It's as if removing physical excess made way for a more balanced mental life as well. If I could sum up everything I've learned on this journey, it would be this. True luxury today isn't having a lot, but having enough and knowing exactly what is enough for you. It's having space to breathe, to think, to be. It's living in an environment that supports you instead of overwhelming you. The house I inhabit today is physically the same as before, but the experience of living in it is completely different. Every corner now has intention. Every object has purpose. Every space breathes, and I can finally breathe along with it. Please share this blessed video so it can touch and help others like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of our faith community. If you wish to support our channel a little more, consider becoming a member of our channel. Here are 2 more videos for you to continue your search. Thank you, and may God bless everyone. See you soon.